fellow bead geeks. My name is Kelly Dale and I'm owner of Off the Beaded Path in Forest City, North Carolina. When I start designing for projects for the videos or projects in generals, one of the places I like to do a lot of research is I like to type in, just like in Google or Bing, whatever, I like to type in vintage jewelry, and I like to research vintage jewelry and look through and see what was popular back in the day, because, you know, as they say, what was popular is always going to come back again. So I like to get and draw inspiration from a lot of vintage items. So I was looking through the other day and I found a great bracelet made out of memory wire that was a vintage piece, and I thought it was really great and really easy, so I wanted to show you guys how to do it because I thought it would make a really great Valentine's Day gift, because Valentine's Day is coming up, so I thought it would make a really good gift. So basically for the project today, you're going to need oval or round memory wire. I personally like to use the oval because my wrist is oval, it's not round, so use the oval memory wire. You'll need some 6mm pearls, some 4mm pearls, as well as some Rhinestone Roundelles. Now, the Rhinestone Roundelles can get pretty pricey, especially for how many we're going to use. So if you'd like to, you could use a daisy spacer or something to that effect. Just something that would look good with it, because like I said, it will get a little pricey if you use as many as we have to. I can't really give you a total bead count on here because each person's bracelet is going to be different depending on what they need. So get your stuff together. Oh, before I forget, you're going to need eye pins too. So get your eye pins and all the rest of your materials together and we'll get started. For today's project, I'm going to be using a 6mm fuchsia pearl, a 4mm beige color pearl, and then I have my crystal rhinestone roundels, so they're just a crystal color. And then I've got 2 pieces of my oval memory wire that I have cut just straight down in the center, 2 pieces, because we're going to make a double-stranded bracelet. And then I've got one eye pin out here because I've already worked and done a lot of my pieces over here, and that's probably what you'll want to do too, is you'll want to make a good stack of our middle components before you actually start, and then if you need more you can go back and make more, but just start with a good stack. I've got about 20 here in my stack that I'm going to start with. Again, each person is going to use a different amount. Plus, if you do decide to use the Rhinestone Roundelles in it, in your sidebar pieces like I'm doing here, you may want to space them further apart, and you'll see kind of what I'm talking about as we go along. But for the first thing that you'll need is you'll want to actually start getting your components together. So a component is simply, I've got my eye pin, and I'm going to thread on a 4mm pearl, a rhinestone roundel, a 6mm pearl, a rhinestone roundel, and a 4mm pearl. Now, the vintage bracelet that I seen also had a bead cap. Let's see, I think theirs was an 8 in the middle and a 6 on each side of the rondelle, and then they had a bead cap coming off of it. So that's another option that you could do. But then once you get ready and you've got those beads on there, you're going to make your loop for the other side. The biggest thing to remember about this bracelet is that your first loop here on the end and the second loop that you're actually going to make, they have to be the same way, or if they're not the same way, they will not lay right. So the head here, or the eye of my pin, is facing my bead. So I want the same thing. So I'm going to grab bend my wire straight out to the 90-degree angle. And you do not want a big loop on these because you don't want to leave a whole lot of room. So just a smaller size loop, and then just add it to your stack. Once you get your stack made and you're ready to start assembling your bracelet, the first thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that your bracelet is even, first of all. And mine seems to be even. And then the second thing you want to do is we're going to make a loop on each piece on one end. Now you can use the screw crimps. I don't know if I've done a video on here or not with the screw crimps. I can't remember. But you can use the screw crimps. Put one on each end also. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab both of my pieces here on the end. And I'm going to start my loop. So that way I'll know each end where to keep going with my loop. And then I'm just going to follow through and finish out and make the total loop here on the end. And this memory wire is not soft wire, okay guys? So you may actually want to use an old pair of pliers to make your loops. You'll want a good hand dexterity when working with these. So now we have loops on one end, and then we have our other end with nothing on it, and that's exactly what we want at this point. So I'm going to take on each piece, and I'm going to thread on a 6mm pearl, and I'm going to thread it around all the way to the loop that we made. Do this to both pieces. Now once I have those pieces on, then I'll hold my two pieces together here. I'll get one of my bars or my components, and I'm going to thread a component on. One on each loop, one loop on each piece, and let it drop all the way down just like this. Then we want a pearl on each piece. And the thing about this bracelet, like I said, if you don't want to use as many rhinestone rondelles as I did, then you can take and put more pearls in between them. And then once you get one pearl on each, then thread on the connector. And pull it down. So that when you get it, this is what you'll have so far. Now you'll want to continue threading on one pearl and one connector for the length of your bracelet. And leave yourself enough room on each end to make the loop on the other end. Now, like I said, you can look at it here and kind of tell whether you want one or more pearls in between your little spacer bars, but that's completely up to you. So just keep in the pattern that we've got going here. Now that I've added all my components and everything, I'm ready to finish off the end. Now, I'm going to finish with a pearl on each end, just like I did when I started. Except for when I end, I'm going to put a pearl on this side and finish this piece off. And then I'll put a pearl on this side. And the reason being is that if I just finish off this side, or whichever side, one at a time, with just the one pearl on there, it'll be a lot easier because I can hold this side with my thumb and my index finger. And then I can take this side, pull it good and tight with my pliers, and then make my loop. Then I'll be able to add the pearl to this side, and then grab a hold, pull with my pliers, and then make my loop, so that I have a beautiful memory wire embellished bracelet. Now you can either leave the little loops as you please, or I like to add little dangles on the head pins, so it's completely up to you. But either way, you end up with a absolutely gorgeous bracelet. And I ended up using 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 32, 34, 35. I ended up using 52 rondelles, 52 4mm pearls, and then whatever 52 divided by 2, that's how many of these 6mm I used here in the center. So I hope that you enjoyed the video for this week, and I hope that you get to make one of these to give as a gift or wear for yourself. I mean, just imagine how good this would look for a girl for the prom. It would look absolutely gorgeous. So come back next week. We're going to get started back with our stitching series again. We're going to revisit some right angle weave. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope 2011 is treating you perfectly.